Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Kerbal Space Program. I said at the beginning of the last episode that we would just dive into the real main game after that, but this turns out to have been a lie. I was thinking about it and I realized, I don't even know how to turn on the dang SAS. My first flight is going to be a disaster, which could be fun to watch, but it's sort of more fun if they're disasters that you don't expect, and I would expect that one. So let's just let's do the next couple ones. I think this should be enough enough to get us able to launch a rocket that doesn't immediately explode, and that can sort of go in a direction that I want it to, these next two tutorials, and then we'll get into the main game. Okay, glad I could come back. Head to the VAB and let's build a thing. Okay, we covered how to build a hopper and some of the basics. Okay, more useful features and a more complex craft that will get out of the atmosphere. Exciting. Loading saved designs. Okay, so open the one we built before, I guess. Load? But it's called a hopper. We didn't call it hopper. I guess they didn't count the one we saved before. Okay, and you said to remove its liquid fuel, or solid fuel booster. Unlike last time, we won't bring the whole thing back, so I guess this is about decoupling. Verify that this is set to, yep, okay. Got it, yep, go away. 1,000 kilometers, but set the pressure all the way to the right. 2 kilometers, okay. So what is that all about? Okay. That means it won't go off when it's so high in the air. Okay, I'm not sure exactly why you need to be able to configure both of these separately. Maybe one of them is like a safety precaution, and one of them's a safety setting, and the other one is like a manual thing. I don't know. First off, let's change the name to something more exciting than Hopper. Okay, we were calling this Toot Rocket, and we'll call it Mark II. Okay. Great. Give it some additional purpose by attaching a science experiment. We can run these during travels and get valuable science data. There are a number of science experiments to be performed, but at the moment we only have the mystery goo containment unit. Check out the science tab, which is here. Grab one of these guys. Okay, they don't even know what color the goo is. Alright, fine. So, next. Now we're going to learn about symmetry, I guess. When you pick up... That's another thing I forgot that I didn't know yet how to do. Okay, but I think I could have figured it out. It's down here, right? One way to solve this is to add an extra goo contain... Alright, so it's unbalanced. If you just add one, so let's add one on the other side. There's a symmetry tool. These buttons control symmetry and angle snap. Alright, not sure exactly what... I guess that makes sense, sure. Just because you want two pieces to be symmetrical with regard to each other, but you also want to make sure that other things that you place are symmetrical with respect to the things that were already placed. Okay, fine. Press the symmetry button or press X to cycle through symmetry. Okay, so we can have 4, 3, wait. Is this a picture of 2 symmetries? I guess so. And that's 3, and that's 4. I see. So yellow means a place that stuff will go, and black is not. So this is just 2, even though it looks kind of like it might be 4. Alright, set this to 2x. Should I turn on angle snap? I don't know. Let's do that. And put on a science thing, and we'll just put it right here. Near the nose, he suggests. Okay. But probably not, like, on the parachute part, if I had to guess. And not in front of the hatch. Okay, well, he doesn't mention... Oh. What is this doing here? Get out of here. Next. Decoupling parts. If we add too many more parts, the craft we're running will be too heavy to survive re-entry, and too heavy to be allowed by the parachute. Slowed, I'm sorry, by the parachute. leading to sudden impact syndrome. So we'll need to add a decoupler below the pod. I agree with that. Decouplers can be found in the coupling tab, and let us split the craft when we no longer need the lower parts. We won't be able to recover the discarded parts, but at least the craft will survive a re-entry and landing. Okay, so where's coupling? Here. Let's grab one of these. I guess we have to wait for him to tell me to do that? Or did... Oh no, he says put it on. Okay, great. Here we go. Wow, it's a varying size, I guess. It just fits to whatever size your rocket is, but it looks really like the default size is a lot bigger, I guess. Just kind of a funny Okay. They have arrows. They show which side is the side that is decoupled. I never knew that. Make sure it's pointing up towards the pod. So up, I guess, is the part that we still consider to be part of the craft. We're sort of splitting our craft into two pieces, right? And in principle, they're no different from each other, right? This is still a functioning craft, and this is still a functioning craft, except that, like, the bottom doesn't have anything interesting on it. Interesting. I'm not sure yet exactly why these arrows exist, but I understand, like, what they're doing in the game. It just seems like a little bit silly in terms of real life. Okay, well done. Yep. Recall that we had to adjust the staging track when you added the engine. The decoupler, the extra stage is automatically added to the stack, so any new parts below it won't be staged at the same time as those above it. Okay. So the decoupler is its own stage, and nothing above it ever triggers until it's decoupled, unless you manually restage it, I suppose. Okay. Oh, and there's a reset button which goes back to the default staging list. Alright. Add some fuel tanks. Use liquid propellant rocket engine. So they need fuel tanks and engines separately rather than one thing that's both. Go to the fuel tanks tab. We're still using these early parts. There's only FLTs 100. Advancement brings bigger and better parts. We'll need 5 fuel tanks to get to space. Before you grab 5, efficiency is my middle name. Press left alt. Okay. I see. So let's grab a fuel tank. Here it is. Put it on, and then he says left alt and click on it. I'm confused about exactly what is happening as a result of this. Go away. I need to try this again. So when I clicked left alt, what did it do? It gave me a copy of the one thing I clicked on. Now I can put it here. And if I click left, it's up here, it selected both of these. I'm not sure exactly how the selection mechanics work, but if I alt click here, it gives me both of these. And if I wanted to, I could copy 4 more, but that's not what the tutorial tells me to do. So get rid of those, and just copy that and put it in. Alright. Yeah. The swivel engine is different from the flea engine we saw. It's a liquid engine, and it needs liquid fuel and oxidizer. And that's what's in the fuel tanks. Very good. Add this liquid fuel engine. So this has vectored thrust, right? Gimbal vectoring range 3 degrees. Okay. So this is easier to point around. Actually, I don't know why we were able to point around the rocket fuel, or the solid fuel one before. Maybe it had vector thrust too, and I just didn't notice. Okay. Switch the engines tab. Oh, we did that. Add fins for balance. Okay, set the symmetry angle to 4. Okay, that seems reasonable. Add 4 fins. And we put them at the bottom like you would on a dart. Aerodynamics. Yep. I am aware he's telling me this over here, but I'm trying to, like, do things without having to look it up where possible. Okay, so that seems fine. And does he tell me to put it near the bottom, or what? He doesn't actually say, but... Ready to go. We've got a rocket that will go Okay. It can't achieve orbit, but it can at least like get into space. We've done a great job building it. Hopefully we've learned a few things about building it. Hang around and try to do some things. Okay, and then leave when you're done. Whoa! And so now there's like a sandbox where we could build a million things. That's way more than I want to build. But I did want to check out this. Was it in fuel tanks? I wanted to see the one we launched before. This little flea thing. Sort them by cost? Is this the most expensive or the least? Oh, that looks like the most. Alright. Here it is. This is the one I was looking at. I don't see anything about vectoring thrust here, so I'm not sure how that was working before. Like if I just grab that and put it there, I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out later. For now, we're done with that tutorial, I guess. Save and continue. And go do that next tutorial about suborbital flight. Yes. Although wait, why suborbital flight? Oh, I guess it's not suborbital. We're not going to get into orbit, but we are going to get into space, and so I guess that's suborbital. Okay. Today we'll get into space. Yes, very good. Hopefully you remember the controls from the basic tutorial. Yes, I do, more or less. If you're ready, let's get started. Whoa, there's like a lot of instructions here. Oh, I forgot to try turning up the size of this menu. Oh well. Your mission today is to make a short suborbital, i.e. less than orbital, thanks for explaining that to me, flight out over the water to the east. It's a nice arcing path that ensures a gentle, survivable re-entry. Straight up and then straight down is not so good. Yeah, you got that re-entry burn. I think they didn't used to have that, right? Or maybe... I think I remember a time when there was no re-entry burn. Certainly there wasn't graphics for it, but I don't know. I set up the pink target indicator on the nav ball as an aim point. Isn't that pointing straight up? The target marker... Oh, but note this is not the case for normal missions. The target marker is normally used for other things and does not help with ascents. Ascents, right? Not ascents? Yeah. Starting with the nose pointing straight up on the launch pad, or 90 degrees elevation from the eastern horizon. Yes. Tilt east to 80 degrees on the nav ball by... What? Oh, these are complicated instructions. So they're saying to let the rocket go until it gets to 50 meters per second, and then tilt to 80 degrees elevation by the time we get to 150 meters per second, and then by the time it says 400 meters per second, we should be at 70 degrees east. And it's a little bit hard for me to read these numbers, but I guess this first ring here must say... Is there a way I can zoom in on this? Like, I see that this is a 70. I guess this must be 80 and straight up is 90. That makes sense. Okay. I can't read the 80, but that must be what it is, right? After burnout, coast up into space, look around, and prepare for re-entry. Okay. Once we reach burnout, we'll have time to discuss some other things. It's a little bit nerve-wracking to be like, okay, once you're up in space, we'll tell you about what to do. Unlike the Hopper, this new craft has liquid fuel engines, so shift and control to throttle up and down, or Z and X to max throttle. And we can afford to max throttle even though we're on the launch pad, because we haven't staged the engine on yet. Okay, fine. SAS, amazing, my hero. Stability augmentation system. Sickness avoidance scheme. Okay. Whatever it stands for, what it does is try to stop the ship from spinning around using computer-controlled auto-torque drive compensator technology to counteract the rotation of the ship. In the simplest mode, it keeps the ship aligned with the orientation it was when you turn SAS on. Or if you pitch, yaw, or roll while SAS is on, the orientation when you release the controls. SAS can be deactivated. Activated, it can be toggled, I guess. Wait, what? Oh, it can be momentarily flipped, i.e. turned on or off with F, and toggled by pressing T. Okay, so... Whoa, what on earth? There's all these things that turn on here. Oh, this is telling me, like, what it's choosing to do, I guess, eventually? Huh. Or maybe these are RCS? I don't know. And I can temporarily turn it on with F. Okay. If you have problems following the maneuvers, once you enable SAS and lift off, you can click on the small red button to the left of the nav ball. It has a miniature target indicator. This will cause the SAS to follow the target indicator and fly for you. This autopiloting function will not be available until you are flying. Okay. This craft has a bit too much engine, so we're going to throttle down for launch. Set it to 2/3. Sure. That's like there. And turn on SAS. We'll keep you pointed where you want to go. Okay. Next. During this lesson, some of the information is quite detailed and can take a while. As is a short suborbital hop, I don't want you to miss anything important. I'll place a warning at the top of pages where you might want to pause. And it'll look like this. Press escape to pause. Okay. Enough talk. Unlock the thing. We're ready to launch whenever you want. Enable the target marker on the nav ball. It still looks like it's pointing like straight up. I don't quite understand that. Or is it this? No, that's our force, which is like one gravity, right? Double tech throttle is at 2/3. SAS is enabled, yes. Hit space, and then at about 50 meters per second, we want to turn to 80 degrees. Okay, well, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Okay, let's start turning here. Whoa, that was pretty fast. Okay, we're at 80 now, I think. Maybe we're at 70, I don't know. Oh yeah, we're already at like 70. This should be fine. Let's just stay right about here. We're aiming to get to the 70-degree pitch line. I think that's where we are. I don't know, we're a bit further east, but that's alright. Let's point up to where he wants me to be, just in case. Hold steady and throttle up. Woohoo! Okay, as we get to higher speeds, you might see some heat effects, but we'll get out of the atmosphere before it's a real problem. Boy, our nose looks really stubby. I guess that's the science things? Okay, well look at the... We're out of gas. Okay, great. So it tells me to pause here. Although, just from the title, I know what this message is all about. We're out of gas, and our target indicator aligns with the velocity vector. That will minimize drag by turning the smallest side into the airflow. Well, we're already about doing that. Somewhere around here, you'll see the navball speed indicator switch from surface to orbit. Okay, so right now it still reads surface, but once we are further out into space, I guess, it'll stop doing that. Go ahead and switch it back into surface mode by clicking on it until it says surface again. Oh. We can orient ourselves with respect to the target, or with respect to orbit, or the surface. Okay, well, fine. You might have noticed some flickering flames. Yes, we were going really fast through the atmosphere. Okay, if you want to have a look at your trajectory, you can switch to the map with the M key. Oh, but I can't do that while we're paused, I guess. Can I? It doesn't seem to let me. Next? I can't do that either. Alright, well, M. Alright, well there we are. That's our flight path. We're going out into the ocean. Okay. Let's try to orient a little bit more towards the direction we're flying. Okay. Now that we're coasting, we've got a little time to chat. Once you clear the atmosphere, we'll go over what you need to do in space. Or what you can do in space. I want to do some science on these guys is what I want to do. Oops, no, don't. And I assume we can't time warp here? Maybe we can, I don't know. Nope. Alright, well let's just hang out in space. It's pretty glorious out here the first time. I don't hear any of the space music yet. And we're losing speed, but I guess we are still going up. We're definitely going to be up pretty high. Yeah, anytime. You can start talking to me. That would be fine. So I understand that space, the atmosphere ends at about 70 kilometers, I should say, and we should be there soon. We won't run out of speed before we get there. Hey, space music. Okay, while we float up here, quickly tell me about a couple other things we can do. With an advanced enough astronaut complex, we'll be able to do EVAs, but we can't on this flight. While we're carrying science, we can do science experiments. Yeah, check out the goo canisters. Okay, cool. Well, let's see what the mystery goo is up to. Observation in space near Kerbin. It's clumped into a sphere, and it appears to have become brittle. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. Well, let's keep it, I guess. And I can observe the other one. But it's going to say about the same thing, right? Warning, detailed okay, so he's going to tell me to reorient so that we're facing our velocity vector before we re-enter. That makes sense to me. Okay. But we'll save this. I'm not going to pause to... Okay. Now, turn off SAS, like so. Point to... Oh, well, I would have pointed towards our velocity vector, but he's given us a target already. He knows what our velocity vector will be, I guess. Ah! Come back. Okay, the nav ball takes some practice. It feels like it's half upside down. SAS on, that'll do. Just keep me there, please. And then, like this. And hit space to knock out the booster. Nice. Okay, re-entry. We're re-entering the atmosphere. Keep hands and feet inside the pods. Okay. Last time we watched the parachute icon to wait. Oh, did I? I didn't do that. I just accidentally pressed it because I thought I was going to decouple. This time we're going to do something different. Remember, you saw the chute to not self-deploy until 0.75 atmospheres? That means it won't perform the first of its 2 deployment steps until then, even if you activate it now. Okay, so let's take the bold step of arming the chute now and let it pop in when it gets there. Okay, we staged it. We're now not... Yeah, okay, deploy at 2 kilometers. You can adjust these parameters during flight. So right-click to double-check. Seems good. Don't touch the pressure slider, and make sure the full deploy altitude is no less than 1,000 kilometers if you want to have time to slow down. Just hang on. Look at the bottom of the capsule. Alright, here we are. Hello, son. Note that you don't have a heat shield. You won't need one because this is such a gentle flight. A heat shield would make things more dangerous because the additional mass would be pushing on the limits of this model of parachute. Okay. I'm starting to notice... I thought I saw a little bit of re-entry flames, but I guess not. Anyway, so we're pointing... Yeah, we're pointing right at our velocity vector, just about anyway. Which means we're going butt first, straight down. We're pointing the opposite of our vector, right? We're pointing that way. There's another ball somewhere on the opposite side of the marker, somewhere on the opposite side of the nav ball. That is what we would do if we wanted to point straight down. But we want to point straight up, so we point at this green thing. And we are coming down quite quickly now. 200... Oh, we're actually slowing down. Makes sense. We're not very aerodynamic at this pace, and we were in space where there was no air to worry about a minute ago. And there goes the parachute. Okay. Cool. And it's finished fully deploying now, and we're coming in nice and soft. Boy, that was... I didn't notice like any re-entry flames at all. We came in very shallow, it seemed like. Maybe a brief flicker of them, or maybe I just missed it when I was reading. I don't know. Cool. So that was a nice little suborbital flight. We did get into space. We didn't mess anything up too badly. I had a little trouble orienting. I'll need some practice pointing things where I want them to go on the nav ball. I wonder if it would be crazy to reverse A and D so that the nav ball, or W and S so that the nav ball... I don't know. I think it would be crazy. But whatever. I'm sure with some time I will get used to it. So, Who's flying it this time? Jebediah. 5 stars. Alright, I don't know what that means, but interior overlay? Huh. Who knows what that means? Nothing happens when I click it. Welcome back. Congratulations on surviving your first mission. You've managed to launch, control your vessel into space, orient correctly, and land safely. I agree that's all quite good. If you want to practice again, you can. Otherwise, end the scenario. Check out the other tutorials. Next one's about going for orbit. Alright. So I'm sure that would be helpful, but... So let's see, can I recover this? No, you can't in training, right. I'm sure that would be helpful, but I want to see if I can just get started now that I know enough basics to fly around. And if I really need more help, well, we can check out the next tutorial. So what that means for us now is that having finished those 2 tutorials that we planned to do this episode is now over. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.